In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to get the perfect tension on your embroidery machine. Welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to show you how to set up your tension on your embroidery machine. It's a very important thing to do if you guys want to have very clean designs. If you guys have ever encountered your bobbin showing up on the top side of your fabrics, or if your threads are too loose, well, that has to do with tension, and today I'm going to show you how to get the right tension. Now, tension can seem very complicated, but in reality is very simple once you get the hang of it. The rule of tension is that you want to have a 3-to-1 ratio, or 33%. Now, what does that mean? Well, when you look at the back of your designs, and I'm going to teach you in a second how to do this, you want to make sure that your design or that your tension looks a little bit like this in a 3-to-1 ratio. It basically means that you want your top tension to be on both edges of the back of your stitch and your bobbin to show in the middle, and all three of them be equal in size. Now, this at first requires a little bit of trial and error, but once you get the hang of it, you can take this test and do it with any fabric that you have. So that's if you're doing hoodies, if you're doing sweatshirts, if you're doing shirts, anything that you have available that you need to get your tension right, this is the best way to do it. So let's get started. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to be using these two materials as a test. This is a 3-ounce cutaway stabilizer, and this is a fabric canvas. This is any kind of fabric canvas that you can pick up at your local fabric shop. So we're going to use cutaway, and we're going to use the fabric on top. I'm simply going to place it like this, and this is the SE600 hoop. Now, for the hoop, the only thing you guys want to make sure that you do is that you make it taut, you make sure that it's stretched out well. Now, I'm just going to twist this part of the hoop until it's loose enough so that it lets me put the other part of the hoop on top without suffering too much. I'm going to put the stabilizer first, so that's the cutaway, and then I'm going to put the fabric on top. This is how it would be if you have your shirt. So let's say you have a 2.5-ounce cutaway, you would put the shirt on top. Now, guys, this is a test that you want to do depending on the fabric that you're using. So if you have any scraps on the shirt or of the hoodie, if you have any, like, you try to embroider something and it just didn't work out, grab a piece of that, cut it out, and then that's how you can do this test. So I'm gonna put those on top of each other, and as you know, there's the arrow to go to the left. That is how this hoop works. Now I'm just gonna press down on all corners, press down, make sure that it's all in. You can see that it's very much like a drum. And both sides, there are no real creases. It looks pretty good. Just make sure that you keep pushing it all the way down. And now this is ready to be tested. I've already turned on the machine, and this is the main menu on the SE600. Yours might look similar depending on the kind of machine that you have, but don't worry, they all work the same. Now, here's how we're gonna find out the tension for this fabric. I'm simply gonna click on the letters. So if your machine has a settings for you to select letters, I'm going to click on the first one, and I'm going to select the letter I. This is the most simple method of embroidering a tension. So after I've selected the I, I'm going to click set, and I'm going to move it all the way up. So just move it all the way up, and I'm going to move it all the way to the left. All right, so we're gonna press OK. We're gonna edit, and now the machine is ready to embroider. All right, now what number should we start with? I've already said in the last video that my lucky number, or the number that works best for me, is between 2 and 1. But I want to show you what it looks like when you set it too high. So let's start somewhere around 4 and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the hoop. I'm just going to put this up, put the hoop in. All right, and we're gonna press the presser foot down and press embroider, and let's see what happens when your tension is set to 4. As you can see from the front, it looks fine. It looks like there's nothing wrong. It looks pretty good and everything's okay, but we're gonna find out how the back looks after it's done embroidering. Okay, and it's done embroidering. Now let's see how the back looks. I'm going to put the presser foot up. I'm gonna take out the hoop, and let's check it out. All right, let's see. As you can see, that tension is way too high. This is a lot of bobbing from the back, and this should only be in the middle. So again, you want to make sure that there is a 3-to-1 ratio of the red being on the edges and the white bobbin being in the middle. You want it to be 33%. Okay, so that is too high. We now know that 4 is too much. We're gonna put it back down. This is why I love this test, guys, because you can use this whole space to find out what the perfect tension is for you. But now we know that that's 4, that is way too high. Let's press OK. Let's go back, and I'm going to move this a little bit like that. You just want to put it a little bit to the right so that it can embroider right beside it, but not go on top of it. Now, we know what 4 does, and we know that 4 is too high. Let's see what happens if we put it down to 1. So again, I'm going to press End to embroider. Awesome. Put the presser foot down, and let's start the embroidery of the second test. From the top, it looks slightly tighter, but overall, it still looks fine. They both look pretty much the same, but we're gonna see how it looks as soon as it's done embroidering. Okay, and it's done. Let's check it out. Again, I'm gonna press the presser footer up, take this out, and let's see what that looks like now. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that's number 1. That actually doesn't look too bad, but I would say now it's a little too tight. So you can see that the white bobbin is in the middle and it looks pretty good, but I think there could be a little more of the white showing, because now the colors are coming in a little bit too much into the middle. So that is still not a 3-to-1 ratio, and we still have to figure out. So we know we have to put the tension a little bit higher, just a teeny tiny bit, because you guys can see that that was too much. Now let's see what happens. So I'm gonna put it back inside, put the hoop in, put the presser foot down. We're gonna bring this up to, let's say 2. We're gonna press OK. And again, we're gonna go back just so that we can move it to the right a little bit more. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna press embroidery. And now let's see what 2 tension looks like. I'm gonna press start. Guys, make sure that you are hooping your tests properly. That is very important, because if this was not taught, it would give you very wrong results, and then you will have like really messed up tension when you actually embroider your fabrics. So make sure that your tests are hooped right. You want to make sure that everything is hooped right, of course, but the test is just as important. I love how quick it is, honestly. It's really, really fast to do this test, especially with a single needle. You guys can do this test really fast. When it comes to multi-needles, that's when you have like 10 to 15 different needles, and you're gonna spend about an hour there. Okay, so now that is tension 2. That is a really big difference between these two, which means that it has to be somewhere around here. So now we know that 4 is way too high, still is way too high, number 2, and 1 is a little too tight. So now we know that we can put it around maybe like 1.5. Let me just make sure. Let's try 1.5 and see what happens. So again, let's do the last test. I think that should be it, because that is pretty close. With 2, it was still a little too high. So we're gonna find out. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna move it again to the right a little bit. That's enough. That's pretty good. And let's see what 1.5, I think it's around 1.5, what that number will do for our tension. So I'm gonna press start, and let's see the embroidery. All right, pretty quick again. I love this kind of test. It's so fast to get done. Put the presser foot up, take it out of the hoop, and there you go, guys. So now that is what the tension should look like. I just want to make sure you guys can see that, and you guys can see that that is what the tension should look like. Remember, this was 4. 4 is way too high. That is 1. It's a little too tight. Now you can see that with 2 is still like way too high. So not 2, but 1.5 is the perfect number for this setting. So for these fabrics, which is the canvas and the cutaway, 1.5 is the perfect tension number. So now something that I would recommend is for you to guys grab a pen or a pencil or anything, and you can mark down the numbers. So this was 4. I'm just gonna mark it down. This was 1. This was 2. And this was 1.5. I don't know if it's showing on camera, but that just helps you keep a reminder. And now you can save this test fabric, and you can even keep testing on it in the future, or you can just keep it to ensure that you know what settings you need to use when you're using these fabrics. And this embroidery heads is how you can set up your tension very easily on your home machine, on your industrial machine, whatever machine that you have. Just ensure that it allows you to have the letter options. You can select either the letter I or the letter H. Either one of them works to set up your tension. So now I know that number 4 is way too high, even 2, 1 is too low, and number 1.5 is the perfect tension for when I use this fabric. I know tension can be super tedious at first, but try this method out with your own machine. Get a little piece of fabric of any test that you've had, any shirts that you've ruined, and try this out. This is going to give you the best results on your embroidery. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning how to set up your tension. I wish you guys the best of luck with your tension, with your embroidery, with everything. Let me know down in the comments if you guys need any further help, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have. My name is Ken, and I'll see you guys on the next embroidery video. Pretty good tension, right? I'm pretty happy with it. 1.5, who would have thunk? That's the lucky number, I guess. Bye-bye.